What is a joint stock company? A joint stock company is a form of business organization which is very similar to partnership. In case of a partnership firm, you have more than one owner. Similarly, in a joint stock company, you have more than one owner. But the basic difference is that in case of partnership firm, the liability of the owners is unlimited, which means in case the business assets are not sufficient to pay off the business liabilities, the personal assets of the owners will be used. The personal assets of the partners will be used to pay off the business liabilities. However, this is not the case in case of joint stock company. In case of a joint stock company, the liability of the owners is limited. Therefore, in case the business assets are not sufficient to pay off the business liabilities, in such a scenario, the personal assets of the owners will not be used to pay off the business liabilities. Types of joint stock companies. There are basically two types of joint stock companies. First is private limited company and second is public limited company. What is a private limited company? Private limited company is a kind of joint stock company where the maximum number of owners can be 50 only. So there can't be more than 50 owners in case of a private limited company. So any private limited company can have minimum 2 owners and maximum 50 owners. Restriction on transfer of shares. In case of private limited company, there are restrictions on transfer of shares. The shares cannot be transferred freely. Shares of private limited company cannot be purchased or sold freely like it happens in a stock market. Cannot invite public to subscribe shares or debentures. A private limited company cannot invite public to subscribe to its shares or debentures. A private limited company cannot accept deposits from anyone except its members or owners, directors or their relatives. Minimum paid up share capital of rupees 1 lakh. A private limited company must have a minimum paid up share capital of rupees 1 lakh. So before starting the business, the owners need to invest minimum 1 lakh rupees as the capital from their own pocket. All private limited companies must use the words private limited at the end of their name. For example, ABC Private Limited or XYZ Private Limited. Public limited company. Any joint stock company which is not a private limited company is called as a public limited company. No restriction on transfer of shares. In case of public company, there is no restriction on transfer of its shares. The shares can be transferred freely through stock exchanges. Minimum 7 members. There should be minimum 7 members in a public company. There is no upper limit to the number of members that a public limited company can have. It can have as many members as it wants. Minimum paid up capital of rupees 5 lakh. A public company must have a minimum paid up share capital of rupees 5 lakh. In other words, the owners have to invest minimum rupees 5 lakhs from their pocket in the company before starting the business. Can invite public to subscribe shares and debentures. A public company can invite public to subscribe to its shares. It can invite and accept deposits from public. Must have at least 3 directors. A public limited company must have at least 3 directors. Directors are the people elected by the shareholders or the owners to run the business on their behalf. So directors run the business on behalf of the shareholders. A public limited company must always mention the words limited at the end of its name. For example, XYZ Limited or ABC Limited. In case of a private limited company, it is mandatory to write private limited. But in case of public limited company, it is not mandatory to write public limited. The word public is optional. So for example, if the name of a public limited company is ABC Limited, then it implies that the company ABC is a public limited company and not a private limited company. So if the word private is missing in the name of any joint stock company, it is assumed that it is public limited company. A private limited company has to use the word private limited. It cannot omit the word private from its name.